In March of 2024, a container ship lost power in the middle of a channel, drifted toward a bridge, and never got the chance to fight back. 6 people died in under 30 seconds. To understand what went wrong, we need to go back to how a ship this size is supposed to stop it all. Because water provides minimal rolling resistance compared to land transport, this mass will coast for miles on residual momentum alone. When an obstacle emerges, the vessel enters a critical hydrodynamic boundary known as the point of no return. The captain must commit to a full emergency crash stop, sacrificing the ship's internal machinery to arrest its momentum before a collision occurs. Initiating an emergency brake requires shifting a 100,000 horsepower 2-stroke marine diesel engine or steam turbine from maximum ahead to full astern. This transition is violent, fuel injection is cut, and high-pressure compressed air is forced into the cylinders to halt the physical rotation of the crankshaft before restarting the engine completely in reverse. As the propeller blades violently bite against the forward-moving column of water, the system enters severe sheet cavitation. The local fluid velocity across the back of the propeller blades spikes instantly, causing the local static pressure to drop below the vapor pressure of seawater. This pressure drop causes the water to boil at ambient temperature, generating millions of microvapor bubbles. As these bubbles pass into areas of higher pressure, they collapse implosively. These microimplosions generate localized fluid jets with pressures reaching up to 10,000 bar, physically eroding the trailing edges of the bronze alloy blades and creating massive acoustic vibrations that threaten to shear the propeller cleanly off the hub. When the propeller reverses, the direction of the axial thrust vector flips 180 degrees. The propeller is no longer pushing the ship forward. It is dragging backward against 200,000 tons of unyielding forward momentum. This immense compressive load travels directly up the rotating propulsion shaft. The component tasked with intercepting this lethal force is the thrust block. Located just ahead of the main engine, this specialized assembly utilizes a series of pivoting thrust pads that transfer the longitudinal force of the shaft directly into the structural bed plates and longitudinal girders of the ship's keel. Under a full crash stop, the thrust block experiences extreme mechanical shear stress and intense thermal loading as friction energy is transferred into the system's lubricating oil. 2026 grade marine alloys and high penetration structural welds are pushed directly to their yield thresholds. If the thrust block buckles or experiences material failure, the rotating shaft will act as a structural battering ram, punching directly forward through the engine room and causing immediate catastrophic hull failure. During an emergency stop, the vessel loses all steering capacity. Ships steer via the flow of water displaced by the propeller moving across the rudder blade. When the propeller is reversed, that high velocity flow is directed forward away from the rudder, rendering the steering gear useless. Simultaneously, the ship undergoes an asymmetric hydrodynamic phenomenon known as propeller walk, and it's not caused by what most sailors think. The common explanation is that deeper water is denser and gives the lower blades more bite. It isn't. Over a few meters of depth, that density difference is negligible. The real cause is asymmetry in the wake itself, because the propeller shaft sits at a slight downward angle. The blades sweeping through the bottom of their rotation meet the oncoming flow at a different angle of attack than the blades at the top, loading one side of the disc more heavily than the other. In a standard right-handed single-screw vessel running astern, that imbalance forces the stern to swing predictably to port, throwing the vessel wildly off its original trackline. However, fluid dynamics also provides a natural braking assistant, the bow wave. As the vessel slows, the massive wall of water pushed ahead of the bow collapses over on itself. This collapsed fluid mass flows backward against the forward-moving hull contours, creating a high-drag hydrodynamic wake that accounts for nearly half of the total deceleration force required to bring the vessel to a complete rest. Modern automated bridge control systems utilize pre-programmed emergency sequences to execute this maneuver. These safety systems modulate the engine's fuel racks and reversing air valves based on real-time hull speed data, balancing the engine's internal thermal stress against the structural limits of the hull to prevent instantaneous mechanical self-destruction. Executing a successful crash stop is almost never without consequence. Even if a collision is avoided, the extreme mechanical war waged under the hull frequently results in millions of dollars in material degradation. The structural vibrations can fatigue hull plates, warp the main engine crankshaft, distort propulsion bearings, and melt thrust block components. Remember the ship from the beginning of this video? The one whose lights went dark in a narrow channel. That was the Dali, a 984-foot container ship, and everything we've just explained is exactly what it couldn't do. Leaving the port of Baltimore just after midnight on March 26, 2024, the Dali suffered an electrical blackout minutes into its voyage. Investigators later traced the failure to a single loose wire, improperly seated in a terminal block, that caused a breaker to trip and cut power across the ship. Without electricity, the fuel pumps feeding the main engine lost pressure, and the engine that had been driving the ship forward shut down automatically. The propeller stopped. This is the critical difference from everything we've covered. A crash stop is a violent, controlled sacrifice. The engine screaming into reverse, the thrust block absorbing tons of force, cavitation tearing at the blades. All of that requires power. The Dali had none of it. There was no reverse thrust to fight the ship's momentum. And without propeller wash, there was no rudder authority either. The crew regained electrical power for a few seconds, lost it again in a second blackout, and never regained propulsion. The ship simply coasted, unpowered and unsteered, on the momentum it had built up before the failure, directly into a support pier of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The collision brought down a long span of the bridge in seconds, killing 6 construction workers who were on it at the time. Investigators noted that a much smaller container ship had struck the very same bridge back in 1980 after a similar loss of propulsion, but that ship was roughly a tenth the length of the Dali and caused only minor damage. 50 years of shipbuilding had scaled the hulls up dramatically, without a matching increase in the redundancy of the systems meant to stop them.